There we are. Hello, Colleen.
Hi, 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 hi.
Welcome to this hour that we get to spend together.
Hmm.
And I'm so happy that you decided to join right now. So
Absolutely.
um, I'm excited because I've been on your channel once,
Hmm.
and so now it's my turn to host you. So
Nice.
I would like to just start with your bio, if that's okay.
Yeah, great.
And the topic today is about reaching interdimensional reality. Basically, we're traveling between the dimensions
Yeah.
because I think that's where we are, in this time.
Hmm.
How can we go from 3D to 4D to 5D and then, in many, many
Beyond.
ways? Hello, T
Hmm.
Barb. Hello, T Barb. There you are, dear. Okay. Um, she says, welcome, Colleen. Can you see the comments?
I can now. And
Okay.
I think I have to go into YouTube. I had to do this before. I have to go into YouTube and leave a
Oh,
comment, and then I can be in there.
oh, it's okay. I mean, I can read it to you too. Hi, Terry, and hi, Gina. Okay, I'm going to read your bio, which is amazing, actually. Okay,
Thanks.
okay. Colleen Pearl, the Cool Crone. She has a YouTube channel, you guys, the Cool Crone. Okay, is a professional astrologer, psychic, card reader, and first degree
Is a
national.
professional astrologer,
Uh-oh,
psychic,
I hear
card
voice.
reader, and
Um, Colleen. Okay, there. Yeah. Nasmutian priestess. Now, could you explain that, please? And hello, Alice. And hi, Marcia. Colleen.
I'm sorry. I was trying to do the thing and it was overlapping the sound, so I muted, so I didn't hear the last thing you said. I'm so sorry.
Oh, yes. Okay. So, and I can read the comments if you want.
That's
But
fine.
Nasmutian priestess, can you please describe what that is?
It's Nashmudian,
Okay.
and the thing is that our line, we had a real formal structure to the whole lineage up until I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago, and then the
Uh-huh.
person in London who was running all the lineage died.
Hmm.
So everybody was scrambling. What are we doing? What's our lineage now? What happens? And we had previously identified ourselves as having come out of a different lineage that was a part of that whole organization. And when we posted that, we were questioned on it rather
Uh-huh.
strongly by somebody who felt that they were the head of that and that we couldn't claim it. So we dropped it. We just said, okay, fine. So the head of our coven is her name is Nashmudi, and
Okay.
so we just called ourselves
I
Nashmudi.
see. Okay. Okay. So, and I'm going to come back to what a priestess is as well, but I want to finish your bio
Okay.
because you deliver astrological and tarot readings to people all over the world.
Mhm.
She is sought after for her infamous Egyptian crack card readings, which are
Mhm.
both entertaining and tremendously insightful. She has traveled extensively and spent time reading tarot in Europe and several cities in the US. Today, she's practicing a light worker, having studied many spiritual and metaphysical subjects, including crystals, stones, angels, berries, past lives, the Kabbalah, and are all topics that Colleen weaves into her psychic counseling. She teaches astrology and tarot and is available for readings on your website. You live in New Jersey with your youngest daughter and two cats,
Mhm.
Mab and Nix, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, awesome, beautiful. I mean, that's a pretty amazing bio. But now, a lot of people say I'm a priestess. So what is it? Well, hey, Vivian, nice to see you. What is a priestess for those of us who don't, maybe we all have a different perception of it.
Well, in religious orders, many religions don't acknowledge women as priests or priestesses.
Okay.
But I'm a member of a coven. I'm a working witch, and in our coven, the leader of the coven is the high priestess. And once you reach first degree, there's only 3 degrees, right?
Oh,
So once
okay.
you reach first degree and you're working in the coven, whenever you run a ritual, you're the priestess. Well, actually, technically, you're the high priestess of that ritual, but you're a priestess of the coven. You're
Okay.
honored, you're revered for your knowledge and your experience and your love and what you bring to the coven and how you treat everybody in the coven and how you help people. And
I see.
our coven is actually a teaching coven, which makes sense to me because I also teach in my Muggle job.
Okay.
So I'm a
Okay.
teacher all around.
You're a teacher. Okay, awesome. And then people are saying a good question because we see the priestess on the tarot cards, right? And I never even thought. I just always thought of it as a healer. I think of it as a healer.
Yes, I think it is a healer. And in some tarot decks, really old decks, that card was called the Popess or the Papess. So it was really organized religion's way of acknowledging that you have female, and then the Pope or the Hierophant would be the male, right? So
Okay.
they over time, that got changed, and that probably got changed around the time of the Rider Coleman Smith kind of deck.
Okay. 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 Now, I mean, and we have so many things. So now you also mentioned witch. Now, see, that's not even in my vocabulary. I mean, I was like, oh my God, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Can you describe to us what that means, please?
Basically, most people who identify as a witch are light workers. They're just
Okay.
people who have studied, maybe in a group setting, maybe by themselves, and have embraced the wheel of the year, which recognizes the eight Sabbats. They celebrate on the full moon and the new moon, maybe both, maybe just the full moon, and they revere the changes in nature, and they observe earth. That's what they base things on, and that's why there a lot of these religions like the Norse and all these other variations of what we call Wicca in the United States is based on the earth. So they're earth-based religions. So
I
that's
see.
why they set up their celebrations, because it's obvious. When it's Yule, it's cold out in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it's hot out. In our Beltane, it's just the beginning of spring. It's life is coming, everything's coming to life. So we go around the wheel of the year and we celebrate what's happening in the seasons. That's pretty wacky with global warming because that kind of messes everything up, but
Uh-huh.
still we celebrate. And that's what I think most witches identify with. Now there's all different kinds of witches within that. You got green witches who really focus on herbs and making tinctures and lotions and washes and oils and things, mixing oils and things like that,
Okay.
making things using herbs. And then you've got witches that are more magic oriented. Like we practice high magic, which is you know not like only digging in your kitchen cabinet to get things, but more working with intention and maybe ritualized sets of words like prayers, or even motions, even hand motions and stuff. So
Okay.
we tend to work more with our body as the tool and our intention.
I
But
see.
other witches do other things, and there's all sorts of different kinds of Wicca. But one of the reasons that I wanted to come out and say that I am a witch is because I think we have to reclaim that word for women who are healers, because
Mhm.
that is what it meant originally. And
Mhm.
the wise woman or the healer of the village was a revered station. And now with our vernacular, I hear it on the news all the time, and it just makes me cringe. Well, they use it as a substitute for the B word, right? So,
Oh,
and I'm just like, yeah, really? Because like I look at almost every woman that I know today, and I'm like, you are a healer too. You're a witch, basically. You don't want to identify as a witch because you think it has a bad connotation. But
uh-huh.
if we take back that word, then
Mhm.
we can reclaim some of what we really are. And I think, we all have deep DNA memories, right? And I think for some of us, there's a little bit of shame in there that we can't let go of, personally, I feel, until we reclaim that word.
Okay. Interesting. So, yeah. And I wanted to say hi to Lisa Oster. Hello, hello. And then, well, Vivian, thank you for being here because I know you're a wonderful moderator. And Colleen Johnson, okay. And thank you for saying entertainment purposes only. Jessica Lynn. And I said already said to T Barb. So butterfly kisses. Here we are. So okay. I mean, it sounds to me, even though I think it's just different words. I mean, we might use the shaman as a word.
Yeah, well,
So maybe
part
that
of our
there's a
training too. That's part of our training too, is to learn.
okay.
We are neophyte shamans. We're just beginner shamans.
I see. Okay, yeah. Because I mean, even me, I mean, I'm noticing like, oh, okay, I'm a little like, oh, what does that mean? You know what I mean? So I some of the words, it's just different terminology, even though I think it's all the same.
Yeah.
You know, and then you have the Celtics, right? The Celtic traditions very earth oriented. So a
Yes.
lot. So I think there's a lot of earth oriented. I mean, weren't the Egyptians very earth oriented too? And
Yeah.
astrology. So right. So I mean, maybe it's just the words, and it's an ancient tradition. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, and I think
Okay.
that's really really true. I mean, a lot of our work, we use um, a lot of things from the Egyptian tradition. We're
Okay.
very enamored of the Egyptians. A lot
Yeah.
of Celtic stuff comes into our work. In fact, one of the things about being a teaching coven is that we often have rituals that are, I mean, I've done several rituals that were Hindu based,
Uh-huh.
but for the celebrating the Sabbats of our tradition. And, a funny thing, they coincide with the celebrations and holidays of many other traditions because
Uh-huh.
those traditions are earth based and they also celebrate the turning of the wheel, the changing of the seasons.
Yes. It's just like the shamanic, the shamanic medicine wheel.
Hmm.
Or then there is also the Chinese medicine wheel. So yeah,
Hmm.
there's just so many. So
Hmm.
okay, so now when our topic today is about moving through dimensions,
Hmm.
and I feel that we that's what we're doing on Earth. And hello, happy Saturday, yes to you, Tammy and Maureen. Thank you for being here, y'all. So I know it's important. I feel it's important that we as light workers are moving through this dimensional space, between 3, 4, 5, but even I just know personally when I meditate, I feel like I'm moving to different dimensions. So, and I'm assuming when you do your past life regressions with your
Definitely.
clients, you're moving through dimensions. So,
Yeah.
would you mind talking about that? I mean, how do you move? What puts you in that space to move through? How it enables you to do that?
So I use a meditation that I learned from someone else, obviously. I didn't make it up, but they were very successful at getting people just, first of all, very relaxed and letting a lot of their defenses down. And second of all, moving their mind, their imagination, their soul, their heart, whatever, to um, a space where they could just explore whatever came up from their higher self or their third eye or wherever they were going. It was just very effective, this meditation. And what we would do is we would move past the physical body, past the physical room that we're in, to what in a conscious mind you might think of as outer space. And that allows people to think or accept the vibration of a higher dimension.
Uh-huh.
So once you're way out there, then anything's possible. You can experience a lifetime from another planet or another star system. You can experience lifetimes on planets that you wouldn't think you could have lifetimes on, like the sun.
Mhm.
Who,
Right.
like, okay, so whatever. Like I've had
Yeah.
people who had lifetimes where they were just balls of light.
Mhm.
And if anybody's ever looked at orbs, yeah, that's exactly what they experienced as a lifetime. So,
Oh.
I feel personally that the whole raising your vibration thing is moving us towards being light bodies. I
Mhm.
think, it may take us 100 years to get there. It may take us 20 years to get there. I don't really know. I don't have any expectations about it. I just know that's where we're headed. That's the only expectation I have, is that someday that's the way things will be.
Mhm. That we're going to be only light body.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be longer than 20 years.
Maybe a couple minutes longer than 20 years. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean that's a good goal though. And I heard on Dr. Stephen Greer. Do you watch him?
I don't. I don't. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's fine. I've been watching him a lot lately.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And he talks a lot about the new earth coming, and he has about that CE5, the meditation to bring in the. And I don't want, we don't have to go with the ET stuff here, but I wanted to say that, and I've heard of other people saying this too. I believe, several other scientists and spiritual people talking about if we can just get 1% of the people raising or being able to go to different dimension, it's mainly through meditation is what they're talking about,
Yeah.
then it's going to change the planet.
Hmm.
And hello, Linda, and hello, Terry. So for me, when I do a meditation,
Hmm.
we change our consciousness, and I believe we can rise to other because we're in a peaceful place usually, right? I mean, that's the goal.
Hmm.
And that goes, and to me that's another dimension. It would be almost like when I'm doing a reading, right? I'm raising my consciousness to another dimension.
Yes. Yes. And when you can feel this, you can feel just what it might feel like just by thinking about when you go into a room where there's a lot of people that you don't know, or you go into a room, say, where you can just sense that people have negative energy.
Yeah.
If
Mhm.
that's one downer, that's like the negative side of it. But if you step away from that and your energy lifts, that's a little bit what it can feel like. And I think the whole thing about going to other dimensions also ties in with just our kind of my spiritual mission is like I work in an extremely muggle environment. I work for a law firm, right? I teach people at a law firm, muggles all around. And I have actually tried to get out of it, but I'm just like, I don't want to commute there, or I don't want to, there's a million reasons why I haven't left, or I just don't get the job. And I realized a few years ago that I need to be there, that part of my mission, part of what I need to do is to help raise the vibration of people around me, especially the people that I work closest with. And it's a challenge. It's
Mm.
really a challenge because you're in muggle brain, right? And you're just working. And then all of a sudden you turn around and you're just like, oh, I just wish that guy would. And you're like, no, you know what? You just have to send them love. You just have to stop. Maybe you need to meditate for 5 minutes. Maybe you need to just take a few deep breaths, but you need to send love. And when I do that, it is amazing how things change.
Yes.
Things definitely change. So if I can do that just in my work environment and all of those muggles, imagine what all the light workers, that's why I do a monthly meditation with everybody, because if we can do this, we will help to raise the planet's vibration quicker.
Hmm. Hmm. Right, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we can do it right now. We have
Yeah,
43 people. We have 43 people in here. We can all take a deep breath and just breathe in love, right? Hi, Linda.
yeah,
That feels better,
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
it? I
Hmm.
already just those two breaths made me feel more calm.
Right, right.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so um, when you work with people in astrology, I don't know because I'm not an astrologer. I know a teeny tiny bit. um, I'm assuming when you're doing somebody's chart, and let's just say you're just, hi, Ron, you, I mean, I think some astrologers do this. They look at the chart and all of a sudden they're moving through a dimension, but not only just a dimension, but a dimension through time, because you're kind of going back to that time of birth. Is that right?
In a way, yeah. For me, especially when I was younger, and just I learned astrology when I was very, very young, and I started doing charts for people around age like 11 or 12. Nobody can really explain that. How would I have the education and knowledge to do that? But
Yeah.
somehow I did it, and I think the way I did it is that I sort of channeled the symbols and let
Oh,
the symbols take me back and inform what was coming out of my mouth. And then once I kind of did that, then whatever needed to come down just came down. So, I don't quite have that ability anymore, I'm getting some of it back. But and it's not like I purposely shut it down. It was just, life. You stop, you get married, you have kids, and there's not much time for astrology. So, but the symbols are in astrology are really powerful. A lot of the symbols in astrology are also symbols that they use in alchemy and in physics. So it's like there's that one symbol and it means that, and it means that like everywhere.
Uh-huh.
So doing getting looking at the chart and seeing the symbols and understanding that this is linked to a person's life. Yeah, you can get back to where they are in from birth, from 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, whatever. Yeah, it does in a way take you to a different dimension. And I know when I do astrology readings, I have the same disconnect with this plane that I do as when I'm doing tarot readings.
Mhm.
That going into the, I don't know what you call it, but going into that other region, and like you can't remember like your cat's name. You can't,
Yeah,
like
higher consciousness.
yeah, you're in higher consciousness. So, some things have to kind of like drop away while you do that. And so it's interesting. And one thing that I just had myself, I didn't get like a full-fledged reading, but I had someone do a galactic astrological reading on me. And
Mhm.
I want to study that because that is amazing. That definitely connects you to different star
Mhm.
systems that you're connected to,
Mhm.
and tells you about reincarnation, different past lives, things like that. So that's my next book.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Very excited. But so going back to just doing readings and getting to a different dimension for somebody else, yeah, I do. And getting that information for people is really cool. It's really rewarding because a lot of times when people come for a reading, they don't know what to expect, and they actually have very low expectations for what they're going to get. And when we get done there, they really have a much better understanding of certain things in their life. Why this was hard, why this relationship was
yes.
difficult. How did I, did why how did I end up where I am? It's really interesting.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Now, see, Terry's saying the same thing. I connect with my guides in their dimension when I do tarot readings too. It's different awareness.
Mhm.
Yes, it is. It's all about awareness. Where you put your focus is where it, I mean, that's how I've learned it anyway when I do mediumship, and I do past lives probably different than you do. I just put
Mhm.
my awareness or my intention, and past lives just come. It
That's
just
nice.
comes naturally. I don't, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So anyway, and hello, c'est la vie. Okay, so let's see here. What about in Egypt? And I know you know about a little bit about Egypt. Um, and they had the symbols. Now, is that related to astrology, or what are the symbols that they used? Like I think in the writings.
Yeah,
Um,
well, they have their, I mean, it's a lot like it is now with our writing. Like we have our standard alphabet and then we have symbols. So a lot of their hieroglyphics were basically their alphabet to, speak. And then like Chinese symbols, a lot of the hieroglyphs were whole phrases and words and symbols of things, birds and things like that. And they would know by the hieroglyph what kind of bird that was, things
mhm,
like that, because they're, like Horus, the hawk, was quite different than, Thoth, the ibis, the big crane looking thing. So those hieroglyphics were quite descriptive. And then they also had symbols for astrology, which they learned from another culture. And it escapes me now. I know Sumerian, Babylonian, and Chaldean. They all kind of Egypt kind of infused all of those together. So and they could use the same symbols. Isn't that interesting?
yeah,
Just
I'm wondering if the symbols came from a different dimension altogether. You know what I mean? A different.
I think so. I think so. I think people have spoken a lot about the Anunnaki and how they came, and they gave all this technology to humans and did all this stuff. And then there's also the dark side of the Anunnaki, that they did seed the planet for their benefit, for, just creating kind of a slave race to
Mhm.
do their work for them. I mean, isn't isn't that also kind of like what all colonialists did? I mean,
Mhm.
they all did it. So, and I think, yeah, there's a lot of benevolent ETs and there's a lot of shadowy ETs too. But I think it's a mix in all of them, just like in us.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
going back to Egypt, their their symbology that is for astrology was even more complex than what we use today, and a lot of astrologers are going back to actually Hellenistic astrology, which is quite a few centuries after the Egyptian bag, but they're going back to these really ancient terms because um, it's sort of been lost in translation over the centuries, over thousands of years, actually. So
Mhm.
we're getting back to that. But those symbols are all over the place on the pyramids and in homes. I mean, they're all over the place.
Okay. Okay.
It- it-
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
Huh. I mean, I imagine you could use a symbol. I don't know what, maybe some of particular, maybe important ones, and just how people can change dimensions. Even I guess it would be calling change dimensions or moving your awareness by looking at a fire or a candle,
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
right? And I wonder if by just like gazing, candle gazing, right?
Hmm.
I know we do this in mediumship, candle gazing, to do a reading for somebody. So I wonder if doing the same thing with a symbol,
Yeah.
gazing
Yeah.
at the symbol to use that as moving through the worlds.
Yeah. I've done that. I mean,
Okay.
that's really informative. The key is you have, I think it helps if you're a practiced meditationer, if that's a
Uh-huh.
word. It
Sure.
helps if you're able to really focus for a period of time that can take you somewhere,
Yes.
that you can really get there, and then just allow it to open up. I mean, I know for me sometimes I'm a little rigid with it because I'm like, mind, just keep seeing the symbol, stop looking at everything else.
Oh,
So
okay.
I
Yeah.
gotta I gotta kind of like, unlatch that little leash and throw it away and then go, oh, okay, yeah, there's a whole forest out there. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Hello. Hello, Marvita Dragonfly. Um, so here's something that we do that I have done with patients in hospice, and it's a shamanic way for helping hospice patients move through dimensions.
Mm.
And so this is what we've done. And it's for people, obviously, as a patient, a hospice patient, they haven't had shamanic, well, most of them haven't had shamanic training or
Right.
experience or anything. But as somebody gets closer to the end of their life, they do go back and forth through dimensions because
Yeah.
the veil's getting thinner for them as their spirit gets bigger, their body gets smaller, right? Gets weaker, the spirits get stronger. Well, they can easily go through. And so, a method to use for those people that want to do it is to have them look through a flower. The center. So, like, let's just say you're looking at a sunflower, and
Hmm.
there's a center of the flower and then there's the petals,
Hmm.
and have them, and maybe even find something in their room or whatever. And I also will drum because that moves the mind from a beta to an alpha to a theta. And
Hmm.
now there's a whole thing about the gamma way brain, right? That's
Hmm.
is supposed to be even deeper. um, so as the drumming goes and they're moving beta to alpha to theta, they imagine that they're looking through that flower, going through the hole, not in the hole, going past the flower, just using the flower as a tunnel to
Yeah.
move toward the spirit world. And then they can meet their guides and angels. And so they do it themselves. As I drum, they do it. So it's wonderful, really. Um,
Nice.
and I think it's easy, even though they've had no experience in meditation or shamanic practice, but they can do it. Mainly, I guess, because they're already moving that way, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like it. And
Yeah.
what a beautiful image to focus on. A
Uh-huh.
flower, so innocuous, innocent, non-threatening, not woo-woo, not nothing religious about it. I mean, that's just perfect. It's just
Yeah.
absolutely perfect. That's great. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm, yeah, I haven't done it in a while, but I used to be very lucky to be able to do that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. So I know there was some questions. There was somebody had asked this question about the heart chakra. Do you want to read
Yeah.
that question up? Okay, great.
Yeah, so this is from JDDJ. I don't see her in here, but I had for some reason people are thinking they didn't get a notification, but I tried to explain, well, it's not on my channel, but and I put up something I think yesterday or today just saying, "Hey, I'm going to be on Kim's channel." So I apologize if she's not here, but she'll definitely watch the replay. So it says, "Hello ladies, the heart chakra is about a 3-foot reach from our physical bodies, correct?"
Yes.
Okay. If
Usually.
so, if this is this what people see when they say, "I see your aura color"? What do you think?
Well, well, not always. No, there's way more to an aura than just the heart chakra.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
then
because yeah,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
yeah. I just think that we have layers of the aura, right? We have the physical, we
Yes.
have the mental, emotional, and spiritual layers. And
Hmm.
in my world, we also have um, the life color and then the colors of the day, basically.
Ah, nice.
The life
Nice.
color is the one that really shows up that you just can't, I mean, it's always there from birth to death. And
Mm,
there's usually a reason for that. I mean, that's about their sole purpose. And then
yeah.
the colors of the day, I mean, you can tune into the third eye, you can, focusing on the heart. Yeah. So, yeah, just, and most people, when they see colors, most of the time, they usually know the colors versus objectively see. Sometimes we subjectively see inside our mind that the subjective. Some people are, and that's more of a rare person, sees objectively, like just looking at you with my eyes open, seeing the color.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people hear the colors, some people smell the colors, right? So, but as far as the heart chakra, it is the largest, electromagnetic field in the body, bigger than the brain. You probably know this.
Okay.
Yeah, way
Okay.
bigger than the brain. It's smart. It's got its own system, and you can. The normal size of our auric field is about 3 feet around, but you can expand it or shrink it. And if you're under a lot of stress, oftentimes you're going to shrink it. Or if you're in an elevator, you automatically, don't we all do this? We shrink our aura field.
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
keep to ourselves. It
Yeah.
just depends. And if you're outside in nature, you're probably going to have a bigger auric field. Or if you were in a room and you're wanting to do like say a mediumship demonstration, your aura field is going to get bigger because you're going to be reaching out to the spirit people in the room.
Yes. Oh, that's such a great explanation. Thank you. So her question goes on, and she
Oh,
says, "Now, how do you teach yourself to see the aura?"
uh-huh. Okay. Well, I'm doing that in a class right now. I'm teaching this in my color class. So
Ah,
everybody's doing it. It's not that, I think it's just the misconception that we have to see it objectively. Like everywhere we
yeah,
look, we're going to see color, and it really is more about first it's practice and
yeah,
intention. And just like we're talking about our intention, we can focus our intention here in this world, or we can focus our intention to a higher dimension. And that's one of the ways we move through dimensions is with intention. We can live in a 4D, 5D world if that's our intention, right?
hmm,
Um, okay, so to learn, there's different techniques. You can imagine going through the color. One of the best ways, though, is meditating with the colors.
mm,
For instance, you pick red. You might meditate every day on the color red, and then so you when you meditate on it, you feel it, sense it, know it. You might taste it, hear it. So you're getting really get to know that color. And then you're going to be surprised just by meditating on the colors. And then maybe the next week you do blue or whatever, you move your colors
yeah,
around. And I usually do like a chakra color meditation. I meditate on the colors I used to do it every day. I mean, that was my thing for years. I would meditate each color every day. My teacher has told me to pick a color a week. So I mean, it's whatever feels right to you. But definitely meditating with the colors helps. Being more aware of the colors in your everyday world when you're taking a walk, noticing, okay, there's green, and maybe even notice, oh, there's a grass green, there's a lime green, there's a dark green, so just really being in tune. Or you could even go through the as you're driving. Okay, I'm going to look for all the greens, or I'm going to look for all the blues, or just being aware of the colors will help you see colors more.
Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah, I love color, and I'm one of the things I love when I'm driving is to see the way the trees change. I love trees too,
Uh-huh.
so I'm always just keenly aware of, are there leaves? Aren't there leaves? What color are the leaves? Are the leaves falling? Are the leaves changing? Are there birds on the branches? Are there birds next to the leaves? Are there no? If there's no leaves, what color are the branches, and how do they look? And what is this tree saying to me? What is this tree
Uh-huh.
giving to me? I'm just
Yeah.
fascinated by trees. So I could do that with my trees. Yeah.
Right, you sure could. And the thing about trees, they always, they're very. The other day I dreamed, I think it was a dream. I mean, I really felt I know it's very dry here where I live in
Yeah, it's
Texas.
dry here too.
Okay, and the rivers are drying up.
Mm.
And so I was thinking I need to let everybody know, like on my Facebook page in my neighborhood or whatever, to water, give the birds water, whether it's a pan or a bird bath. I don't know.
Mm.
They need us. They need help.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good suggestion. Yeah. I'm going to do that. I live near a river and it hasn't dried up yet. So there's still water there, but we had a full moon ritual last night at my
Oh,
house. We always have them at my house because I have a big backyard. And the backyard is lumpy because there's
mhm.
not enough water and everything's just kind of, I mean, it's pretty flat on good days, but I do have a lot of trees. And so the root systems of the trees, some of them
Oh,
are a little close to the surface. So you got to watch that. You can literally trip over the roots of the trees. There's
yeah.
only two, but the yard was so lumpy that
Mhm.
everybody's chair was a little bit askew, and it was like the drought is real.
Yeah.
This is real. Yeah.
Yeah. Arvita's just saying she's sending love. Oh, she's very nice. And then Ron's here saying, I don't know who. See, Kelly. Okay. There's going okay, there's somebody going on. Oh, Ron's going to be on live tonight. He's just talking about that. I'm just going through the chat, looking at the chat for a sec. Okay. Good morning. Okay. Maybe we got there. I thought there was one other question.
Yeah, I have another question.
Okay. Gail. Okay. Yes.
All right. So this is from Silver Rose, and she says, my mom has been having some odd things happen around her home throughout the year, and she told me she told me my daughter saw a gray lady in her old bedroom as they both also watched the door sway back and forth. Odd things happen maybe every few months or weeks. Electronics are turned on in the middle of the night, or clothing is moved when no one has touched it. Any
Oh,
thoughts about who or what this is and what to do?
run. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah. Sell that house. No.
I don't know. What do you think? I'm going to let you answer that one.
I think this is a spirit guide from like a relative that has passed on. I think that's somebody that, or it could be a person who used to live in the house that bears them no ill will, just wants to make their presence known, and no harm is going to come to them whatsoever. If it's scary to the daughter, which she didn't mention that the daughter was scared, it sounds more like either you are scared or your mother is scared. Just try to let go of that fear. And if it really bothers you to have that spirit in the house, just ask them to please, go, because it's worrisome. You just don't want that worry. But in general, they're not trying to hurt you or anything. They're just trying to let you know that they're there. And, I mean, that it's not a trickster spirit either. I don't want to say that, because just any spirit that can move things, that's a lot of energy for them to do that. That is not an easy thing for them to do. even turning on electronics, that's probably easier than moving that piece of clothing, but they're just letting you know that they're there. See if it's an electronics that has like a computer or a radio or something that has music that could come out of it. Notice if there's a particular song that comes on. If not, if it's just noise, just see if you get something out of the noise. Or like I said, if you just don't want any part of it, just ask them to leave. They'll leave.
Yeah, I agree. Or just say, I get the message. Thank you. That's
Exactly.
enough.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
the message. And if they still do it, even though you say I get the message, then I would ask them to leave.
Yeah.
Because maybe who knows? Uh-huh. And
Yeah.
when I think about asking a spirit to leave, well, it just depends on who you think it is. I
Yeah.
If it's a friendly, nice spirit, then you. Well, I don't know. What do you think about, does sage really work? I mean, I question how much sage really works. I think it's a human rather than the spirit.
Yeah. Well, I think that sage makes the air pure. I think it
Mm,
actually cleanses the air and makes it easier for you to breathe. And I think when you're thinking about like a really strong spirit, I don't think the sage is really going to make them go away. I
right.
think if you're working with, say an earthbound ghost or phantom spirit of somebody, doing a little sage and telling them to go to the light, always a good practice. Always good to do that. The sage
Mhm.
doesn't hurt. But I think for actually cleansing out spirits, uh, I think you
Something
need to
stronger.
combine it with something stronger, like
Yeah.
little holy water wouldn't hurt, but doing your own little ritual of just saying, I'm cleansing all four corners of my house or whatever. And I think burning things that are a little stronger, like a resin, like I've done frankincense and myrrh, that really opens up the space a little
Mhm.
bit more energetically. But
Mhm.
sage isn't wrong. It's
Right.
just that we have all kind of moved up a little bit,
Uh-huh.
right? And so the things that are going to be around us probably a little higher too. So I think that's why sage is just more, I won't say just fun. I mean, it does, like I said, it's really good to clear the air. Like if you have stale air in your house or it just has a kind of a funny feeling, but not really a spirit, but just kind of a feeling, I think the sage will help that because
Okay. Yeah.
the sage does help move the energy about. Don't
Okay.
forget to open your doors though to let that energy go somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just questioning. Yeah. I always question it myself. I love the smell of it, but
I do too.
I
Yeah.
really just don't know how. I mean, in my white dragon, and I think you were with Dr. Gale this morning. I have to go back and look at that. I can't wait to see it. White Dragon was on Dr. Gale's show this morning, and I know they had a nice talk.
Oh, nice.
Okay, and there's one other thing I wanted to see here. I thought I saw something here. Okay, here we go. I need to get my
Yeah.
glasses.
I was just reading that.
Yeah, I work against entities, right? And to me, if there was not that we're kind of going off the topic a bit, but I just wanted to say for entities, sometimes you need a specialist.
Yes.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. Some things I wouldn't want to go do it by myself.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody else have questions about moving through dimensions here? Or like, do you consider now, Colleen, that we're in the fourth dimension on Earth? Or some people in three, some people four, some people five, would you say? Or what would you say about that?
Yeah, I think we're still 3 and 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And for me, one thing that I was told in some class that I took 4 5 years ago is that 3D is 3D. That's where we all kind of start out, or at least we all agree that this is reality, right? That's where your parents and you're growing up, right? The fourth dimension, you find people who are more open up to clairvoyant, the clairs and psychic abilities and psychic things and the paranormal. And they're a little more open to things, but they still are very, very connected to ego.
Uh-huh.
So, they
Okay.
very, very much still connect to drama and ego, right?
Hmm.
Fifth dimension, people who are really, I think, more practicing a real spiritual devotion, I'd call it.
Hmm. Mhm.
Without,
Yeah.
and of course we drop into ego from time to time. We are human. We are in bodies. We are going to have egos and dramas occasionally, but the goal, I think, is to reduce that so that your life in general, you can be in kind of a state of more or less serenity and just get through things and do what you need to do and enjoy it. We're really supposed to enjoy things when we're here.
I know. And I think for right now, we all think we're working so hard, and maybe we don't have to work as hard as we're working. Maybe.
Or maybe there's a way to kind of put metaphysical skates on and kind of like, yeah, I'm working hard, but I'm skating through it. I can do this and this and this, and just imagining yourself sort of like, imagine like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, but you got skates on. You can just skate through and put the sprinkles on here and grab that one there and toss that one up to another level. That imagine yourself going through life with ease and with very little effort, but still accomplishing the things in the muggle world that need to be accomplished.
Yes. And so, how do we do that? For me, it's like remembering that we have a higher sense. We have the higher oversoul, and
Yeah.
that knowing that oversoul is in a higher dimension.
Yes.
It's already in a, who knows? Is it 5, 6, 7? We don't know. Whatever dimension. It's a
Yeah.
higher one than this one for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And so that we know that our soul is already doing work beyond our beyond our awareness. And so that's one of the reasons that just our presence on earth is enough to bring even more light to earth. Do you know what I mean? And helping
Yes.
the earth.
Yes. And I
Yes.
think everyone should remind themselves of that every single day. I
Yeah.
mean,
Just our
I'm
presence.
going to a doctor right now, who is a medium, and
Uh-huh.
he helps connect with past traumas in this lifetime and perhaps past lifetimes. But as he identifies them, he brings it down to um, something that I can work on. You're you're feeling overlooked. You're feeling like you're not worth it because everyone's not paying attention to you at this age, and work on that, meditate on that, and it's helping tremendously because I can just focus on that, and it's actually yielding tremendous physical results in my body, which is such a relief. I mean,
Uh-huh.
just like, wow, this is,
Nice.
and a lot of it comes down to believe you're worth it. Do
Uh-huh.
this because you are a magnificent creature. You are a magnificent divine child of the universe. And I'm like,
Mhm. Mhm.
okay, I am. Oh, okay. I mean,
Right. I
I've
know.
said this for years. I've even taught classes where I've told other people that, and it still comes down to there's little parts of me that are stuck. So I'm
Mhm.
trying to release those, and it's a journey. It's not a destination. It's you're
Mhm.
going to be we are all going to be working on this until the moment that we either become light beings or transition out of this body. But
Mhm.
what else would we be doing? How much fun would it be if we weren't doing this?
That's exactly right. Well, yeah, I don't know about that, right? Okay, Mary's asking, how do you know if it's ego or your guides talking to you?
What do you think?
Well, depend. The guides can talk to you in many ways, and so it depends on your sensitivities. Are how you receive your information? So, I mean, some people receive it as a knowing, and also it's becoming. It has it's a trust issue, right?
Yeah.
Trust what you're getting
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
is from, and it not I don't even know about guides, but just knowing if it's your own higher self, even more important than your guides, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think trust is huge. I'm actually taking a mediumship class right now because that's something that I felt had eluded me.
Oh,
And people around me were just like, no, you can totally do this. What's wrong with you? Why are you even saying that out loud? And I'm
uh-huh.
like, because I mean, that was a little area where I was just sort of waiting to hear like a recorded voice in my ear. That's
Well,
probably
yeah.
not going to happen. And in the class, I was quite surprised. Once I just kind of settled down and got over myself, I was quite surprised that
Yeah.
the way that I get messages, there's a couple of different ways that I get messages, that I have always gotten messages now that I realize that if I just trust that, that's the message. So
Yeah.
it's all about trust.
Well, yeah, and a practice. And I like what Terry saying, I can tell by the energy. And that's right too. The
Ooh, good
energy.
one.
Their energy does feel different. And some of that is practice. Practice and then trust.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. White Dragon is asking, Colleen, do you use wands? I made a Harry Potterish wand with a crystal core. It really does have an energy at the tip. Well, just like mine, I've got the selenite wand. It's
Yeah. Oh,
my
that's
nice.
a gorgeous wand.
Isn't this
That's a
nice?
gorgeous
I
wand.
use it for healing.
Yes. Yes, that
Mhm.
would be a very good use for it. So I don't use wands personally, but in my group, um, some people use black tourmaline or black onyx wands to cut
Uh-huh.
cords, to
Hmm.
do cord cutting. Some people use wands that have crystals on them or at the tip for starting out circles of protection, describing circles of protection. Um, and I have one that's kind of like it here. I have a large. Can you see this? Let me put this in front of my
Go
face.
higher, a little higher.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So I
pretty.
have an amethyst tower like this that's actually a little bit longer. It's about, it's about almost 6 inches long, and it has. I use that sometimes as a wand, but
Okay.
I find that again, our bodies are our tools. So for
Yeah.
me to direct energy, I just use my fingers. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I do. Mhm.
And then Coastal Crone is saying, I travel astrally and usually remember my trips. Awesome. Almost always accompanied by blue. Oh, wow. I was told my
Cool.
purpose would be clear when I was gray haired. Oh, that's so wonderful.
Very nice. Very nice.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
That's
So
fantastic.
I know.
I think we all travel astrally every night, and I think that
Yeah.
um, if you do remember them, then that's a milestone or a benchmark or a really important moment that you need to remember. And I've had quite a few that I remember too. I've had astral dreams where I've asked to be healed in my meditation at night, and then I had an astral dream, just one big one that I remember that felt like it lasted a very long time, where they did psychic surgery on me.
Uh huh.
And
Hmm.
I woke up and they really had. And I was
Okay.
like, okay, that's completely past Harry Potter. That is completely out there, past Star Wars, past it all. That is just like, wow, if I didn't believe in this stuff already, that would have convinced me, because it was so detailed, and I was so blessed to be able to remember that. It was just amazing.
Oh,
Just
nice. And you
yeah.
didn't even you didn't even ask for it. It just happened naturally.
It did. Well, I had been asking for healing on that particular
Okay.
issue
Okay.
for a while, and it was my practice to fall asleep listening to a healing meditation and
Hmm.
just letting it run out, and then I'd fall asleep and like hope that whatever happens happens. And prior to that, in years prior to that, I had done um, meditations that were I did the same guided meditation for healing every night. It was beautiful. It was a yogi meditation, and it
Uh-huh.
was very specific, and I really enjoyed that. And I don't know. I think the psychic surgery was just sort of like my door prize for having done that meditation for so long. I just finally
Awesome.
said,
Yeah.
okay, she's getting this now. She's ready for it
Awesome.
now.
Yeah. I like what Alchemy's saying is I think the guide's voice is very subtle. Yes. And I think when we're just starting out, it's going to be hard for somebody to distinguish which guide, or maybe is it a departed loved one, or is it your higher self giving you the information? And then eventually it does separate. But I think
Yeah.
at first it may be hard to tell of which category. It could be an angel, a guide, a departed loved one, or your higher self. And how are you? So to tell which one, I think is going to be until more practice is what I think anyway.
I think practice is really important. What I've been finding with myself is that most of I get colors and I get symbols first. And a lot of the symbols are animals. So I get that first. And I
Okay.
get it over here on the left. I get
Uh-huh.
it coming to the left and down here. And
Oh,
then
okay.
as it develops, then it comes forward and begins to just kind of tell a story, which
Okay.
blows my mind because
Yeah.
I've never experienced that. And it's just I have to be in a state where I'm trusting that little tiny thing that I'm seeing down here at the left is something. It's not
Yeah.
just my imagination. It's not just me wishful
Mhm.
thinking. It's something. And if I just drop all of my ego and all of my worry and everything and just kind of relax, that will manifest into an actual picture
Yeah.
and messages.
Right. I can do that with guides too. It's similar working with guides that way. And
Oh,
okay. Yes. And so here's a guide is slapstick humor. I love okay. Hello. And they're just saying hello. And I have there's one. Oops. Okay. Well, we've got two questions and then we better close up because we're already at
okay.
the hour. But this one
Okay.
says, how do you know you're getting it? What you're getting isn't from shape shifting trickster? Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. I
Feel.
I would say in general, when you're opening yourself up to other dimensions, to your higher self, to all of that stuff, you are also opening yourself up to people who want to have fun or entities that want to have fun. So I would, in my devotional practice, we put protection around us and our houses and our loved ones all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that protection really works. So
Okay.
just on some kind of a regular basis, you want to surround yourself and your loved ones in your home and your car with a circle of white light, a sphere, a bubble of white light, or any
Mm-hmm.
color that you think is appropriate. If it comes
Okay.
to you that you need black or you need green, or just do that, but make it a practice to protect yourself because I mean, you are opening yourself up. You're going somewhere you've never gone before. I mean, it just makes sense that, if you're going to meet someone for the first time, you go to a public place. You don't just invite them to your home. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Like it's a common sense thing, but on that other level.
I see. And I do it differently.
Okay.
Well, because I think like to sit in the light, and I think that's enough right there to. And that's so if I use the word protection, I feel like, well, what am I protecting myself for? So I don't. For me, I like to just say I am the light, and only light is here. So I don't even if I say the word because I feel like it brings in a little fear. I don't. And so
Ah.
that's why I don't use the word protection at all. Or, I hear people say shields up, or it's like, no, you just sit in the light. Only light can come in the light. And if you have the practice of being in the light, then there's no issue.
Oh, I love that. And you know what just dawns on me too is that when you do like shields up or even the bubble and circle that I was talking about, you're setting up duality. You're setting
Right.
up us them. And we
That's
don't
right.
want that anymore.
I
So,
know.
oh, that's priceless. Thank you so much. That's
Yeah. I've
beautiful.
just always have done it that way. I've never done the what
I
people
love
call
that.
the protection only because
Oh,
you
that's
just if you
beautiful.
sit in the light, you're the light. I mean, there is no other
Ah,
way. There isn't anything
right.
else.
That's right. That's right. Well,
Yeah.
and I also just lately I've started to do just a pyramid of light around that is
Uh-huh.
just radiating out to everywhere, like rays of the sun coming off of it. Right. So thank
Yeah.
you. That's
Good. Oh, good. And then Jill says, I believe I've traveled someplace repeatedly for a week. Oh, for a week. Yeah, first night I was in my Coast Guard uniform, so I knew it was. Oh my gosh, Jill, that's awesome. I have to say I've been doing missions lately too, and I kind of know what some missions are because I've been working with Dr. Gale, and so we kind of have some missions. But I don't know for me to be able to tell you what your mission is if you're in the Coast Guard. Well, I mean, I don't know that. Do you get a hit on that? Like what the mission would be? It's got to be something with the water, obviously, right?
I don't know. Let me see. Um, Jill, are you connected at all with ETs? Because what I'm getting is that there's a mission having to do with animals in the water, whales,
That's what I
dolphins,
think.
cetaceans, and that
Um,
would relate to the star system Sirius B, which I'm also a little connected to. Actually, that was a question I asked Dr. Gale, and she told me that. So, but
okay,
I think it's something about the water, the oceans,
me
and
too.
not just oceans, but a lot of different bodies of water, because I'm not seeing just the ocean. Although you did say what, Coast Guard? So, yeah, you'd be in the ocean or near the coast. So, dolphins, yeah, dolphins more than whales, but
I
yeah,
do feel like it's with the animals and also the water animals, but also with the water itself, somehow with the
yeah,
salinity. I'm getting, and as I'm saying salinity right now, I'm getting of the chills. So I feel like there's something that you're doing, Jill. And even though you're not in the Coast Guard now, it doesn't matter. Your
no,
soul has a purpose that it's a good thing you've tapped into that. So congratulations for tapping into what you're doing in your mission.
yeah, and that's why you were in the Coast Guard.
Oh, and you saw babies and kids.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay, well, could be, but I still got the salinity somehow. So I don't
yeah,
know, Jill. The salinity felt very important. And I think it might have to do with even if there was no water present, somehow I'm feeling, with the earth changes, how I think the salinity is changing in the water.
yeah,
So
yeah,
anyway, it's hard to maybe if we had it, in this short little time we have together to really tune into exactly what your mission is, but it does feel at least you're on a mission, at least you're experiencing that, and you're very water connected. Okay, I mean, yeah, again, something about healing the water. Okay, dear. Oh, that's awesome.
Moon in
Oh,
Pisces. Your full moon is coming up in September, so be sure to celebrate that one. That's going to be awesome.
well, anyway, I feel like our time is up, Colleen. And
Yeah,
so went very fast. And thank you so much for being here. And thank you all for being here. And Jill and Terry and Monica and Alchemy. And I know Ron and T Barb and Marvita. Messages from Michelle. I love that. Coastal Crane. Um, Mary and Lisa. Okay, Alchemy, I think I said that. Hi, Craig again, and White Dragon, thank you for being here, and Aaron Mist. Yeah, T Barb, did I say that already? Lucky Me, okay. I love the name Lucky Me. Josephie, or Josephie, I don't know. Nancy, okay. Thank you all. Awesome for being here.
thank
Really,
you
really appreciate
so
it.
much. Thank you
Okay,
so much, Kim, for having me, and thank you everybody for the chats and for posting my name of my channel. That's just wonderful, and
cool.
love you, and hope to see you again soon.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.